it'll tell you when you're going.
Oh, that's your old life. You're not wearing black.
Okay,
Hey.
now we're live. We're live.
Yeah.
We're getting this party started. So if you're watching this, if you're able to share it on your end, you can share it into any groups, or you can share it or tag anybody that you feel will be able to listen to this message and get encouragement and hope, because we're definitely going to be talking about not only escaping, me personally, about escaping Nicole, and then of course Jason's going to be sharing his stuff. And I really want to share a lot of the beginning stages of how I got to where I am today. So yes, so if you can
That's
share
awesome.
it.
That's awesome. So we're live right now, huh?
Yeah, so go ahead and share it to everywhere. You can even tag people, honestly. So as we're getting this started, I think Lucia's already watching it as well. And I can see everybody's comments as well. Lucia says
it's all right. For some reason, it's your old one is still on there. I'm not seeing it on my computer. So maybe I can like side swipe this and go to Facebook from my phone, huh?
Yeah, I'm already sharing it inside the group too, and I think a lot of people are too. So
Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's awesome. Share
yeah,
now.
so go ahead and share and tag, and we can get this party started. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm really glad that we're here. And if you did you go blank? Are you still? Oh, there you are.
I just had the slide screens, you know.
Okay. So also, let me introduce myself. I'm Mandy. Mandy, a lot of people already know me, but for those that don't, so I am now a shaman and healer, but also I just help people through their pain, through their trauma in a compassionate and gentle way. I teach a lot of like classes. I basically help you get to the other side to where people are able to live and embody their true authentic self through shamanism, through guided meditations, using a lot of the ancestral work that I do, using the power of my ancestors, using the power of my spirit guides, able to bring them in so that you personally are able to connect with your ancestors and your spirit guides so that you can have power that comes from your ancestral lineage. We're able to learn from so many people. We're able to absorb so much information, especially now in this day and age. But I really truly believe that the main power and information that we can gain that will be life changing is through the wisdom and knowledge of our ancestors. If we can connect with our ancestors and gain the knowledge and power from them that's in our bloodline, because we are here because of them, then we can grow and evolve and become who we were always meant to be, and to complete our purpose and our mission here on earth.
I love that, and I started to find my purpose. You're in Sedona, correct?
Yes, I am.
Finding my purpose along my purpose within my purpose, not knowing my purpose, but kind of discovering on the journey. As you know, I was in Sedona, and you may saw this earlier, but I bought these pieces separate, like this citrulline or crystal. This is the blue
Lapis.
lapis, yeah, lapis, and then I made a wrap with it's a giant lapis with some feathers I found out there naturally, and it's like like a cleansing, can be used for magic, whatever. And I always pull out cards for certain people that tap in with cards and very a beautiful, majestical, natural way with nature and just like the expression that I've seen through people, and you have a very passionate mission or journey or path, camino. And I pulled this card. I marked it with this little Buddha pin I bought in Sedona. I bought one from my Dharma Punk sponsor. Somehow it showed up, and I pulled the card, and it's from the archetype deck. I don't know if you've probably seen this Kim Kranz archetype deck. It's and they have a bunch of circle cards. So this
Cool.
is the mountain, and I was like, oh, it would be the mountain because I'm back in Denver, and and so it says XXX111, which is 33, and it usually pulls to like a thing where it has the actual in the oracle. It has the card and the meaning, but I accidentally turned to page 33, and I read it, and it just like resonated with like me and yours connection, since we've been kind of communicating since you moved from Texas to Arizona over spiritual stuff and trying to connect through retreats and or whatever. May I read this to you?
Yeah, read it.
It's an accidental read because I've turned to page 33, not XXX111. So it says the missing hero. Um, One of the greatest disappointments I faced in making this deck was confronting that I simply could not include every archetype since there are infinite archetypes. We, as have discussed, this deck inevitably falls short in every direction. It simply can't keep up with the bigness of life. It is a drop in the ocean, it is a gust in the wind, a great storm of archetypal energy. Knowing this, I was intentionally slow with the selectional process. I spent 2 years filling these pages in my notebooks with a list of people, places, and things I sensed particularly potency and resonance. I came up with about 250 archetypes. This is her speaking about her book that I wanted to include, yet you're now holding only 78 in your hand. Only the circle beholds dead. During the final weeks of editing, I simply could not decide between some of the cards and others. An example of my daily dilemma, which to keep the witch or the magi. I had to stop there and I was like, yes, the witch, because there's a powerful, beautiful, and honorable, and it's such a hero in the witch. And so she said the witch or the magi. I didn't know what magi was, so I looked it up, wrote it down on my receipt paper. When I returned that stuff, they're like, "What the heck is this guy into?" Magi is a biblical term for gross income, like so. The witch or the magi, she says, both are necessary. Both must be. I had to turn something beyond myself for help. I pulled it out my pendulum and began to knit archetypes left and right according to the swing. Before each use, I asked it to communicate on behalf of these who would someday use the deck. I asked it things like which archetype is most needed, considering the dynamics of our current world, the witch or the magi. When the pendulum swung for the witch, I then asked it, which is its most effective name for her energy? The witch. The crone. I had to stop there. So it swung to the witch, obviously. I was like, what the heck is a crone? It's a magical, supernatural woman. And that's how I see you. And I was like,
Oh,
what? I would accidentally turn to regular 33 than Roman numerals. So the sorceress, when the pendulum swung to that name, um, and called it the crone. Uh, I had to listen, so here I am, and I'm gonna embody that message and listen to your story. And if I punch in here and there, it is what it is. It's all support and
that was
for
amazing. That was really, really good.
yeah, she's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you're welcome. That's exactly how I see a magical, supernatural woman.
Yeah, we definitely have power, in our womb and our portal. Like we're meant to have a lot of wisdom. And as you get closer to bringing healing into your body, you're able to embody that healing and that power so that others can also align with that. And that's why there are those that are just magical women, right? Like I'm sure like Lucia, I know she's
Uh,
here. Like these goddesses carry and embody this magical power that it literally covers them, and anybody that goes around them or hears them or even online or just has any interaction with them, you can feel this interaction of power and of magic, and you can feel it and you want more of it. But the thing is that we weren't always like that. I mean, personally for me, my story begins, my healing journey began when I escaped a cult in 2018. You know what I mean? When I escaped that place, a place that I thought I was never going to escape from. I literally thought I was going to just live my life in that until it was over, and then that was it. Like, I literally didn't think I was ever going to live a life of like happiness and live a life outside of like the pain and the trauma. Like, I literally just thought that I was gonna live like that forever.
Right, right, and I've been locked in some situations like that too. Whether you define it as a cult or a gang or a mob or a religious sanctuary of some sort. What is exactly do you mean by a cult? Like, what were you in? Like, what? I'm so curious. Like, I know a little bit of it, but like, I don't want to spoil it because like. I haven't really dove in as deep as I wanted to wait for this. I see you out there. I
Yeah,
see you. So, like, what is this cult that you're talking about? I love cult movies. Like, I watch all
I
of them.
know. Me me
It's
too. Me too. I Even though I escaped one, like, I love watching movies like that because I can see the similarities and I can actually see why people would fall into it and be vulnerable. So, like, this particular one that I was in, it was a religious one. So, I was 16 years old when I went into it, and they basically like groomed me, they loved bombed me. They basically took all my vulnerabilities and were like basically the same old system of fear and control. Like, you're going to go to hell. You're not a good person, and take this outside source that they would call God and say, this God doesn't love you. This God wants to forgive you, but you're not good enough. So you got to do A, B, and C in order to be enough. And like, I believed it because I was like, well, okay, and like I fell for it, but they love bomb me. This place is still around. It's an international cult. It's named the Potter's House. The
no, down
Potter's
in Texas. That's down in Texas, huh? South.
Well, it's no, no, no. Well, it's international, so it's not connected to the.
Oh,
It's not affiliated with the Potter's House in Dallas, Texas. So that one's
okay.
no. This one, you'll know that it's the one I'm talking about because it has the earth on fire. Like, there's an earth and then there's a fire, and it's the Potter's House CFM. So you have to put the
Hmm.
CFM next to it in order for it to be the one I'm talking about.
Yeah,
And
see, I'm glad it's not the Potter's house and the one we are familiar with because I know some really great people that go there
no,
and
it's not that one.
yeah, that's whoo, thank you for
Yeah,
that.
a lot of people get confused with that one,
Yeah.
and so it's like, no, it's not that one. This one is the Potter's House CFM. It also goes by the door. So they recruit, like, worldwide. They try to recruit you. They recruit, try to get you in, try to find the vulnerabilities. If you're sad, if you're depressed, if you're lonely, if you don't have friends, they will recruit you. I was 16 years old, so
Oh
they
yeah.
re- they recruited me, and then
They
I
could coddle you at some point, huh?
yeah, they like love bomb me. They like celebrated my birthday. They gave me gifts. They paid for different things for me to travel to help them recruit other teenagers.
Wow. Okay.
And I almost 20 years I almost 20 years I stayed
Dang.
inside of that place.
I mean, stayed inside as in you would go home and come back, or did you live there?
Well, we didn't live in compounds, so I didn't have to like literally live there,
Oh, okay.
but I had to stay involved with them, and I couldn't like leave the city without permission.
Wow, it sounds like
Um,
you're on probation or something. Like, what, dude? No shit.
House arrest.
Yeah, yeah, ankle monitor and just go to this religion organization. Okay, sorry. No mind.
So
Keep going.
yeah, so then eventually they told me how to dress. They told me where I could go, what I couldn't do, what music I could listen to, what
Oh
movies I
man.
couldn't. And then eventually they married me off. So at
Oh.
17, they found a man inside of this place to marry me. Um, for the purpose of wanting us to create our own organization for them to help recruit other people to bring them in, to love bomb them, to scare
Mm.
them that they're a bad person. Like the same stuff they were telling me, that they wanted us to tell them.
It was like they were boosting your ego and they made you feel good, huh?
Well, if you're a man more, if you were a woman, they just kind of told you that your purpose was to basically get married, have babies. You
So you,
you
what? So they like forced you to marry someone you didn't want to marry or something, or
they didn't force, they encourage, like
yeah, right. That word
they
encouraged.
make you believe that that's your only purpose. And
Yeah.
then I didn't even know him, and then I married him, and then I had kids, because your purpose in that place is to have kids for them, so that those kids will end up recruiting more people, so it can be easier for you to train your children because they're little, so you can train them easier than you would an adult.
Oh yeah.
So it's pretty sick.
Yeah.
um
Like, that's really twisted in ways I can see it could go down many paths of darkness
it
and trauma and yeah so like dang like it's like they're recruiting an army and like I don't know what they're doing with it, so like I'm so intrigued by your story, like what happens next.
They then you become a robot, a machine for them. So you believe, you're brainwashed so bad that you believe everything they're telling you. So you basically become a robot, and you will do anything they say and do.
Okay.
Because
uh,
if you don't, they have punishments that they would do, that were like ridiculed and humiliated. And at that point, you're isolated from your family, from your real family. So they are your family. So then at that point, you don't have nobody else or nowhere else to go. So you just stay, even though it's not right and it don't feel good. But at that point, you're just like, you're drowning in everything that they've told you, that you just like, you can't, like, I couldn't even think about escaping, because I was like, if I escape, they said that I'm gonna, like, you're gonna be cursed with cancer, your kids are gonna die, you're gonna lose all your money, you're like, they had like all this stuff in place
wow.
that would scare the hell out of you if you even try to leave. So I
Because they were like religiously wrapped your mind and conditioned your belief system.
Yeah.
I get that from many different programs. I don't want to diss right now because some did help me, but yeah, I relate to that feeling of like I was in this program where like um it was like a facility instead of going to prison, and they would like do things where like if you couldn't talk for 2 days and and if you talk, then you get in trouble and you have another contract you have to sign. And it's like you're signing these contracts within this false algorithm that's made for within your community on this property. And it's supposed to be like a behavioral like adjustment, but like I saw it more turning into rebellion. Like not once I talk, I'm gonna speak my mind after I can't talk for 2 days. It's still I
mm,
relate to the feeling. I'm not gonna name this place because they did do a lot of things to help me raise awareness about myself. If I were running it, it would be a totally different situation, but I'm not, and I don't desire to, right? So, back to your story. So I get that conditioning. It's the same conditioning that we get from when we were birthed and we're in this area of the U.S. I don't know where you were born, but
in Texas. I was born in Texas, and that's where I was recruited into this place, and this cult and organization was in Texas, but they're international. They have like about 4,000 worldwide. So they're, if you Google the Potter's House CFM or the Door CFM, if you Google it, if you're watching it and you Google it right now, you will see that there is probably one 10, 15 miles from you, even down your
no
street.
way. That's they spread in like massive attack. Wow.
Look, because they take on your vulnerabilities, and
And
it's,
use it against you, huh?
yeah, they literally feed off of it, and then they literally um will love bomb you, give you things that you need, and make you feel very loved and cared for. And then they'll use it against you and say you basically owe them without saying that, but you feel like you owe them. Um, you know, and I have somebody here that's on the live that actually escaped the same place I did.
Wow.
So
Like
I'm pretty sure she understands what I'm saying, but that, and she can verify that all of what I'm saying is true,
that's
even
awesome.
though
You
even
have a
though she
witness.
even though she didn't escape the same one I did. Like, it's crazy how it's all similar to, they're just all over the place. And even if you come from a different one than I did,
Oh
then
my gosh, there's one right. Oh my gosh, I can walk to this, dude. I literally can walk to this one. It's right there. Are you kidding me? The big gold church thing looking
is
thing.
it a fire? Does it have a fire with, does it have an earth on fire symbol?
I literally could walk there right now on my phone and show you. Let me see. Um, it's purple. There's I mean, they of course they make it look all pretty, like you're at the watermark or something, you know. You know what I'm talking about.
That's messed up.
Um, big fire. So the fire, like this is the front. I don't know if you can see. I don't
Oh,
see it.
that looks like a big one.
Yeah, this is a gigantic, dude. This looks. You know the watermark church in Dallas. Like this like they got big stage events and stuff. Like look at this.
Yeah, and you can always tell if they're one because they have that symbol, the earth on fire. And a lot of times they start off as small little house ones and then they get bigger. As they recruit more people, they of course accumulate more money. And
Yeah.
that's basically what they want, is more money so they can get
Wow.
bigger.
So that goes back into the reading, the witch or the magi. The magi is a biblical term for gross income, and like that's when I read that it just screamed you for some reason. Like I was just, my guts were, my heart was just like on fire. Um, I don't believe this one is of what you're talking about. Because I don't see a fire symbol, but I want to go check it out.
Yeah,
Not the
they're
part of it obviously, but like I just want to check it out. Maybe it's, you know, some you're saying some are different. The fire sign ones are
well
the
well
ones.
those well those are the ones that are affiliated with the main one is in Prescott, Arizona. The founder founded this organization in Prescott, Arizona. So the main one is in Prescott, Arizona, but they're all over. They're international. But that's how you know they're affiliated, is the Earth on Fire. I probably can look. I can pull it up right here just so you know, because a lot of people will get confused. But once you see that Earth on Fire, I literally have one in Arizona that's literally like 10 minutes from my house. And when I seen it, I panicked because I was like,
Uh,
man, these fuckers are everywhere. But yeah,
right.
I mean, it's understandable because they're so good at what they do. I mean, they're literally good at what they do. They know how to feed off your vulnerabilities. So, can you see that?
Yeah, I see the fire. Yeah, I
Okay,
was.
this is how you know it.
TD Jakes talks about the fire. Potter's house fire confirms something too.
Yeah,
That's
so that's how you know. That's their cult symbol. I call it a cult symbol. But that's
okay.
but that's how you know that earth on that fire with the earth, that is their symbol. And that's how you know that. And I think there may be other people on here. If you're watching and you escape this place and you feel
Whoa!
like you want to share that you did, let me know because I
Look
know
at
there's probably
this.
a
Look at
few
this.
people.
You know TD Jakes. You lived in Texas just like I did. TD Jakes confirmed the end of Potter's house, and look at it burning on fire. Does that make you happy? Like they burned it down. They freaking burned it down.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Whoa, dude,
They
TD Jakes is a G.
they they
Love
but
him.
yeah, but you know what? I finally escaped in 2018, and I don't know. I think there's like one or two people that's watching this live right now that also escaped, and it's you're able to escape. But when I escaped, I was so scared. Like the things that went on in there, I know now was like initiation into shamanism. Like I went into the deep, darkest caves ever in that place. Like
Mm.
it was torture in that place. Like the psychological abuse and the torture that went on, especially to being a girl and a woman in that place, you're going to go through it even more. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe that I survived and that I made it out. But I know now that escaping in 2018 and beginning my healing journey, like literally healing,
Yeah.
has brought me to this place where I need to be right now. Like it brought me to feeling powerful.
Okay, yeah, and I'm not. The reason I called TDJXG for doing that is because that was the one I believe that you're talking about. I'm not saying if anyone's listening, don't go burn down a church, please. It's just because the Potter's House down the street to me looks like your basic watermark, beautiful Christ Church of Love. So like they already did that. That was the ill one. Don't go cause anarchy and arson, please.
No, right. So I have somebody here, Vicenta. She said she escaped in 2020. So she literally escaped the same place I did. So she shared that. I don't know if you can see it on the screen that she escaped in 2020.
Okay,
Thank
how do you
you.
when you say escaped, like for me, like I got involved with a mob in Texas, and I was very it was like I was kidnapped almost, and made believed that I was part of their family. I was exiled from my family already, so that I was basically adopted, and this is different culture than I talked about before. I'm not going to talk about race or this or that, but they made me believe all these things because of Jesus, that I was this biggest gangster on the planet, and I was highly delusional. And but they said, Jesus, thank you for this child, and you sent him, and they used me and betrayed me and manipulated me from my open corazon, my heart that was con todo, everything for them. I had a new mama, and I had a new brother, I had a new sister, and this and that, but they used me and did a bunch of betrayal to the point where my escape was like dang near like I'm just talking about down South Dallas type hood, trap house type vibes, like um also high end stuff, like where I'm like okay, I'm gonna smoke a joint these because the homeboy, I loved the homeboy, I still do to this day. We had some fun, like he knew underneath all this structure that like that what was going on, and he said, even one of them said, I brought love to the trap house. So I was like, they said they never felt that, and I'm like, how that's a gift. So I'm like, but I still saw behind closed doors that one of them was saying, we're gonna either, he had the stripper in there because connecting running drugs to the strip club, you know, and you know where the big one down there, and they would come over, and I could hear him talking in the other room with it. One time he had all you got to do is just poof. They're trying to steal my identity, right? And he had a phone up to one of them, this other, you know, cousins, this and that, or whatever they call them. They're like, $1,000, would you kill this? Said a certain word, and I'll kill them for $1,000 right now. They were trying to take my identity and trying to take my numbers and this and that, and I got brainwashed. And I still thought I just was playing with. I thought they were just joking until rest in peace, El Vito. He was the leader of a blood gang. He told me, he's like, bro, you already beat the game. Look what you're driving right now. You already won. Like look at all the stuff you beat the game. Get out of there. They're not your friends. And he got killed, and he has kids. Rest in peace. But he offered me to stay at his own family's house. I tried to get out there, got stuck in Vegas. Had to call back the mob and be like, yeah, mama, I need some money to get back. You know, like I'm almost homeless in Vegas. So I got flew back, and that didn't work. I was trying to go to Cali. Anything I get out, I didn't care. I was on a probation or not at the time. And That's why I can relate to you deeply. And
It sounds very, I mean, the way you're sharing it literally sounds like any way a cult operates. The thing is like if they're watching, like people who are still in that place, they would be like, "We're not a cult. We're not a cult. We're a church. We love God." And it's like, but the what you're explaining, like if they hear you, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, he was in a cult." But they operate the same way. Like they literally isolate you from your family. They literally say, "We love you. We're here for you. We're going to take care of you." They help you with money, but at the same time, you're doing everything they tell you to do. And then if you leave and you need help, They're like, yeah, see, that's why you can't leave, because then you need us. Like, you need us to
Yeah,
live.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's the same way that's like, that's a cult. That's how it operates. But they'll be like, no, we're not a cult. We love God. We're not a
Right,
cult. We love Jesus. Okay,
right.
you're a Jesus cult. I mean, how, what do you want me to say? You want me to make it sound pretty? You're a God cult. You're a Jesus cult. Like,
Where's
I
the
don't know what.
Jesus mob over here? You like what you talking
Yeah.
about?
Exactly. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, exactly. But they don't believe it. So I mean, long story short, basically, I finally escaped. I was shunned. I was completely shunned from them, as many of those that have escaped this place. We were completely shunned, and we had to start from scratch. Like, I divorced. I moved away to Dallas. I got in touch with like services that could help me. They helped me start a new life. I started therapy. Like, I did so healing modalities, spiritual healing, and eventually made my way up, up, up. But I had to go down into the depths of hell inside of my soul. I don't know
Oh,
how. I
stars.
don't know. I don't know how
How
that
did
just
that?
happened.
You got the stars. We're on TikTok or what? What's going on,
I
man?
don't know how that happened. I don't know, but
You,
it had perfect
you,
timing, because I'm like,
yeah.
I went down into the depths of hell, into my soul. I had to go into my soul, and I had to literally dig myself out of like all of that pain, and I had to validate it. I had to comfort myself. I had to surround myself with people that were going to support me. And thankfully they did shun me, because I didn't need them in my life anyways, because they were basically just using me
Right.
to grow their organization. And once
Exactly.
once
Invest in
they
the invest gross income. I was at the same thing. I was told I was investing in a medical company as we were doing gangster activities, and I thought it was beautiful because we were helping the medical field. And I got jacked for $250,000, damn near. So like, excuse my French, it must be my ancestry, but you know what I mean. I honor those lessons though, like, cause I repaint those darknesses with the mirror magic and dream work, and like I honor and respect every single one of those people that I was on the path with pure love and compassion and understanding, because that allowed me to escape in the midst of Halloween Win in South Dallas, and go sleep on a tattoo shop couch, and my homeboy would let me find my way to where I am now, and it's just like, without that, like, I would not be as aware and mindful as I am. I would not be able to help the children be as aware, as mindful, that are coming up these days. Seeing all this type of stuff on social media, like thinking it's cool to wave a gun or flash all this money. Like, why did you flash that money? Like, yeah, I've done it recently, like with pesos, but like I put those pesos up there because I it was a donation for a mini home we were building for $1,000 in pesos. We built an entire home in the middle of the jungle for a retreat center called, and it was like, I thought, that was a little bit bold and kind of the old ways coming out, but it was kind of alchemized, showing like the prettiness and the color of the money. I'm trying to justify it. But got off track here because it's about your story, but I'm really relating to the darkness of it and the beauty of the
Oh
darkness.
yeah,
You
the
know,
beauty of the darkness. Yes, I love how you said that. The beauty of the darkness. And Thomas Jordan said he loves you.
I love you too, brother. It's a
Yeah, the beauty of the darkness. I freaking love that, because like in the midst of the pain that I was going through inside of that cult, and like our own stories that we've gone through, beauty was coming from it. Like today I wouldn't be who I was without it. Like, I've made peace with it because of all the healing I've done. And like the healing that I've done, I actually now share that with so many people all around the world that have connected with me, and next month I open up my mentorship program again. I had somebody sign up today for it. And this is like an in-depth mentorship where we go deep into the darkness together, and at least they have somebody there to help them and guide them, which is beautiful, because you need that when you're going into the darkness. You need recovery. You need somebody who's going to outstretch their hand to you, and they're a little bit more up the level. Like, I didn't want any of those people that I escaped from, like in the cult. I didn't want any of those people to help me because they only helped me whenever they could use me. They only wanted me when I could grow their organization and
Yeah.
help their
Yeah.
agenda be bigger. And then once I was like had already been traumatized and beat down so much, and I left, like they were just like, okay, they just shunned me. Like they didn't want anything to do with me anymore. And I'm pretty sure they still watch my Facebook now because they can't believe that today I am everything that they said was evil, cursed, and going to hell. Today I am everything that they preached was evil and going to hell. Everything that I teach and preach now, like about my truth, about spirituality, that I am God. I believe that I am God. You're God. We're creators. We create this life. We get to
Right.
create. Oh, she's evil. She's cursed. She's going to hell. Well, if I am, I'm like the happiest I've ever been.
Well, that's funny you mentioned that. You know that, and I love that for you that you express happiness because of that. Because you go like you go over to India and you walk up to like some maybe someone with a third eye on red third eye on their forehead, and you go, "Hello, I'm God. Nice to meet you." They go, "Oh, you finally realized that." They would say something like that,
Oh,
right?
that's
You finally,
beautiful.
yeah. It's like I've heard that story from someone that's actually a buddy of mine. My Dharma punk went over to Cambodia and like said that that's what happened, and he was meditating with monks and. You know that's the Buddhist perspective, and like and the force of compassion of Buddha is so strong, and the Buddha within is really that we are
Mm.
of that God and all that thread of existence, right? So like the creators in the sky, the star people and native as we call them, like whatever you want to call it, like it's all the same different frequency, different paintbrush, right? It's how we
Mhm.
use it. It's all perceptual. It's all perceptual. It's all perspective, and it's how we use it. Like so, I love that this is the Jesus thing because Jesus, like Christ consciousness, Christ is beautiful. I love Christ. I am of Christ.
Yeah,
I am an
right.
ambassador of it, dude. But it's like, how do you use that? You know?
Exactly. Like the Christ consciousness and like loving everything that I learned from who Jesus is, but not taking it as far as they did and creating this religion from it of like, oh, he's the ultimate. Like no, like he was one of us. He just had this consciousness teaching us that we can be as high up as we want in our consciousness and heal our bodies and heal ourselves and love, 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 love.
Right. You remember
There,
those you meant those stupid little WWJD braces? So like that's basically it right there. It's like what would Jesus do? So he would right here he would be kind, he would be gentle, he'd be peaceful like or and, you know he was basically teaching us whether it was an archetype or a mythological like representation or is it actual people say there was actually blood and DNA found whether or not that's true it doesn't matter. We can make it true in our mind. And you look at those bracelets. It's like he was teaching us that we can be just like him, right? We can be. We are no different than him, and that's why they exed him on the cross and persecuted him. The Judas Priest thing, right? I always get the band mixed up, but the betrayal right there, right? They're standing next to two criminals on the cross, Judas and someone else. Betrayed him, and it's funny, and it's because it's and then we dive into like the witch, the massacre of witches, like who, oh, what do you call it? Salem witch massacre happened later on. Do you know much about that?
I just know like the burning of women. They didn't burn witches, they burned women. And
Okay.
like women were witch like to them. Anybody that had any kind of voice, like, oh, gone. But these were the same people that believed in love and the same people who supposedly spoke in like their God was full of love and they're literally saying they did that for them. Like they're
Well, it is though. That's the thing. That's the issue about the word love. So I believe today, as at this moment, I finally feel validated with what I've been pondering on. what is more better, authenticity or love? Because I could love being a serial killer. It's still love. I could
Mhm.
love doing gifting people flowers every day for free, walking down the street. Still love. That's the whole idea of thelema.
Mhm.
Love is the whole the law 93. Do what thou wilt, and thou wilt is my will. So like that's where love gets twisted. Like people love being in gangs. People love causing trouble. People love doing these shady little things, but people love doing the light things and like and being the loose of the world and making and helping people be happy and being healers and holding ceremony and this and that. And so like that's where I think authenticity overshines love.
Mm. Good point. That's a really good point. I think that really makes you think.
It
Really makes
does,
you think.
doesn't it?
It does, because that's so true. Like when I was inside of that cult, like they taught us to believe like who we were supposed to love. They said
Mm.
they said they were love, but they taught us who to love. So we had people we could love, and then they would tell us the people that were basically going to hell. So those are the people you don't show compassion to. And everybody knows, if you know anything of religion, you know some of the words I wouldn't even say out loud of the words
Yeah,
they call people that are
right.
not who they want to love. So if
You've
you're
already
doing
removed those from your vernacular mindset. Like if you were to re-say those things, they'd probably activate again, huh? That
so it yeah, like
we wouldn't want that over here.
they're telling you who to love. And then they're telling you who to like how to dress, where to go, what music you can listen to. So if I'm not doing what they tell me, guess what? They don't love me.
So
And
what?
when when I stood up for myself and I escaped, they shunned me. Is that love?
Yeah, but
Like I'm
Sean, what do you mean by Sean? Like they slapped you with a ruler? Like what?
No, like they shunned me, like they cut off connection from me 100%. Like they pretended they didn't know me after they had
Oh,
known
so
me.
you felt the
After
absence of love and absence of acceptance.
they cut me off. They they pretended that they didn't know me. They
Uh,
only if I would come back. Like if I came back, then they would love me. But because I chose to stand up for myself and speak up against the violations and the abuse that was going on, and I walked away and I left and I didn't come back, they wanted me to come back. So if I came back, then they would give me love again. So that it's almost like a drug addict. Like you go back to what feels good. So they gave me a
yeah.
chance. They gave me a choice. Like you can come back. We'll make you feel good. We'll give you more love if you come back. At that point, I was done. So I didn't. They were like, "Oh yeah, she's serious." So they just cut me off, and they never talked to me again. I mean, I'm sure they sneak around to see what I'm doing, especially on my Facebook. So if you're watching, guess what? I'm the happiest I've ever been. I'm so
Have
happy.
fun.
I
Enjoy
I'm
it.
right. I'm so happy that you shunned me now because I
It's a
seen it.
gift, huh?
Yes, like I
Thank you
did.
for giving her a gift. I love y'all for that so much. Oh.
Thank you. I can say I'm so full of gratitude now. Thank you so much for shunning me, because you taught me how to stand up on my own feet, and I started from scratch and I built a whole damn empire. And
Woo.
today I am a full force, and you think I'm just getting started? No, baby, you just wait, because it's my platform is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And just today I had somebody who's not even into my spiritual stuff. She looked at me, she goes, "I don't know why, but I'm getting this vision about you." And I said, "What is it?" She said, "You're on top of the stage and you're speaking." And I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I feel that. I feel that."
You are right now, like the world is a stage, says Shakespeare, and Shakespeare was actually like 13 different writers. That's the funny part.
Yeah. So, at the end of the story, like me escaping and me surviving and me sharing my story, like I don't share it for any other reason except to show people that like it doesn't matter what you've ever been involved in, like you can get out. You can get out of that cave and you can get that darkness and you can make it into a robe. You can make
Yes,
it into a
exactly.
robe. Like I'm
Alchemy.
wearing, yes, I'm wearing that robe, but it's no longer torn up and beat up like what they did to me in that place. Now it's like full of sparkle, and people who see me can feel it. Like I radiate, not only do I radiate empowerment and goddess energy, but I also radiate compassion. I also radiate love and gentleness because I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to have nobody show you compassion,
Ooh.
nobody be gentle to you, and you have to just suck it up and go home and fucking fall on your knees and cry yourself to sleep, and nobody cares because no
Uh,
everybody is just they don't care. They oh good, like they don't care. And I know what that feels like, and I am full of compassion and love today, but full of authenticity, full of boundaries, full of power, full of fire. But I will tell you no. I will tell you no. I will tell you that I've had enough. I will walk away. But I didn't learn that from that cult because they stripped me from all of my power. They gave me bare minimum. And but you know what? I'm thankful for that now because
yeah.
at when they stripped me of everything and I was standing there bare and they were laughing at me and they were ridiculing me and they were tormenting me and traumatizing me. It was in that moment that I knew I never wanted to be around people like that. I knew then that I did not want to be full of hate. I didn't want
Yeah.
to I wanted to be love. I wanted to be compassion. And
Yes.
everything that they said they stood for, oh, we're love, we're compassion. No, you're not. No, you're not. I'm love. I'm compassion because I walked away from your hate. I walked away from what you said you stood for. I walked away from that. I'm love. You're not. You stood in there. And for everybody who watched it happen, they watched them do that to me and everybody else that they did in that place. You
Mhm.
watched it. You're part of the problem. I don't care if you didn't do it. You watched us. You watched us be tortured. You watched us be
Oh,
abused.
that goes in.
Yes.
I used to play in this band. They're still playing called Scream and Genovese. And you know the story of Kitty Genovese?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's a psychology thing. So it's actually in a movie, Boondock Saints. It's kind of about that. But so back in the early 20s in New York, Kitty Genovese was a real person that was living in an apartment, and she was getting stabbed to death like 20, 17, 23 times. And curling screams and like might be getting raped at the same time, and it's just an apartment complex where they're in New York. You know those buildings are massive. Nobody did anything. Everyone just that's innocent bystander. So I don't want to be involved in like. I'll just hear them and we'll just wait for it to go away. Like nobody stood up, and Katie Genovese syndrome or whatever they call it in psychology. It's a bystander syndrome. Like you see someone on the street when you're walking by, but like you being highly darkly manipulated, but you do nothing about it because my life is I'm so much more important than going over there to show some action of compassion to help this person. Like I'm just gonna innocent bystand. Like that's where that's some simple psychology comes from that. And
Mm-hmm.
like there's probably was a lot of people that whether it was family, friends, homies, homeboys, homegirls, like that were watching you. I don't know what, and just stood by, and was that did that happen, or did they reach
Well,
out in concern, or
what happens is like everybody's the same robot. Like everybody's a robot. So everybody's watching and they can't speak up because if they speak up, they're going to be disciplined and
well,
they're going to get abused.
you're talking about the people in the circle, but I'm talking about
Right.
people nobody knew that you were in
No.
that.
Well,
Oh,
I mean, people knew I was in it, but if you're not there witnessing it, then it goes on behind closed doors. It's not happening in the public because then of course people will see. So it's done only in the circle,
uh,
in the community. So when you're out in public, you have to look great. You have to smile. You have to be beautiful. You
yeah,
have to look
yeah.
like everything is perfect so that people will want to join the circle and want to join the community. So when I finally escaped, I remember nobody knowing why I left. They thought I was happy. They were like, I thought you were happy. Like, I thought things were going so good. What happened? Nobody, that's how good of an actress I was. I should have won a fucking Grammy because, or whatever it's called when you win for an actress. But
Oscar.
yeah, no, yeah,
The
an
Colt
Oscar.
Oscar Award, Mandy
Yes,
Jason.
me, please, because
Right here.
people, thank you,
You got
because
it. No, actually, this one.
I want to thank myself. I want to thank myself for making it. But the thing is, it was sad because my mom was like, what happened? Like, what happened? I had to sit down and talk to her and tell her what happened. And it was so sad because I had hid it for so long. She started crying because she was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I never knew. Like, I wish you would have told me. I wish you would have said something. And I was like, I couldn't, mom. Like, you don't understand
Yeah.
when you're so deep in the shit, like you speaking up, you're terrified. You're terrified. You cannot even think it because you're terrified they're going to come after you. God,
Yes.
that
Yes.
God. You're who
Yes.
cares about a human being? You're scared that God is going to strike you with lightning and fucking give you cancer. Like you literally believe that. So when I left and my dad was so happy that I left because he hated this place from the very beginning. And my mom was like, "Well, what happened?" And then I told her and she was just really sad because she's like, why didn't you tell me? And it's like, she was really, and then she got mad at those people because she's like, I can't believe they treated you like that. Like you gave all of your time and your money to these people, and that's how they treated you. And yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
but but I've made peace with that. I've made peace with it. I know that I am who I am today because, like I said, they stripped me from everything. I learned how to stand up on my 2 feet. I learned how to say no now. I've learned to create boundaries. And not only that, but the beautiful thing is that I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of people that have connected with me, and I've been able to share the alchemy with them. I've been able to share the healing process with them and how I did it because I should have been in an asylum. I mean, what I went through, what I've gone
I
through,
feel that.
I could have. And I remember when I first escaped and had to get my first full-time job. I had never had a full-time job before. I had not had my education. I got my high school equivalency after I escaped the cult. I got my first full-time job, and I remember when I did, and somebody eventually heard my story. They found out about it, and they looked at me and they said, "How are you? Or how are you okay? Like, how are you not in the crazy house?" Like they literally, and I was like, you know what? I don't know, but I'm here. Like I'm okay.
That's
But
funny.
I think what it was too was like the
I don't know how
survival mode. Like I was so much in survival mode. I was just going, 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 going
right,
that
right.
I was just going. But then eventually in like 2020 after COVID, I went into a mental breakdown where I literally like just broke. Like I broke, like I was tired of survival, survival, survival. And that's when I went deep into my healing journey. That's whenever I started processing my emotions and my feelings because I was numb as fuck. I was a robot for so long that I could not even feel happiness. I didn't know. I didn't even know
Uh,
I didn't even know what happiness felt like. I just knew what sorrow, depression, suicidal. That's
uh,
I knew how that felt.
yeah.
I didn't know how it felt to like literally be happy. And even though I had good things happening to me when I escaped and I began to live my life on my own and with my kids, like I literally was like, why can't I be happy? Like something's not right. And then
Right, right.
I went
Like you
into
can't
healing.
even you can't. It's like I couldn't in those moments. I felt like I couldn't accept it. It's funny you said 2020 because rest in peace Gerardo Gijo. Um, I was living with him in Texas, and this was around the time, like he be blasting up, and he came from the same world I did in the streets, and like he really helped me spiritually. Like look at my shadows, dude. Taught me mirror magic. Taught me like all these things like I was afraid to look at because like some of the things I just said today like weren't even in my book like because I was afraid to write them into the world. So like you got some stuff out of me today that like thank you. Like I needed to shed some of this darker stuff to someone that understands a similar energy like this. Like I see whether it's a Merkaba or like some kind of fractal of golden whatever prism color energy that you embody, and your freaking heart is so massive and it's so powerful and so strong, and I can relate to that. For me, I have trouble expressing it for myself because it can sound like I'm angry, but am I getting confused with passion, or anger? Like other people's judgments, and like, do I care? To some degree, yes, but to some degree, no. But I've got to learn. That's where I found the path of Dharma in the teachings of just Dharma, not Buddhism, like tone of voice and right mindfulness, right action, right meditation, and this and that helped a lot. But it doesn't say I won't say MF for every now and then to someone who treats me wrong. It's like crossing my boundary, right? Like, and that's not, I'm not mad. Um, it's expressing a passionate force that I also hold in with inside, that like no, you can't step in front of this traumatic zone, because I will explode into a monster. And I've already warned you not to step on those precious petals of opal radiant angelic frequencies, and like, people that stepped on them, they know who they are. I've never like hurt someone physically because of it, like, but maybe said some things that I shouldn't have, and I apologized and made amends, clean that up. And that's where it gets tricky for me. And I freaking didn't know this was gonna go this way. We knew we were going deep, but like deeper than deep dish, like Outcast says. Like, but do you ever get that way? Like when you're expressing it, it's like you're super passionate, dude. Like I see your passion strong. I'm into it. Like I want to grab that passion and alchemize it and shoot it right back at you tenfold.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's like so much light and you're using it for such a good reason, because like being a woman in that situation, I can't even imagine what the men would do. I don't know if you want to go there, but like I have a pretty good idea what, as a man, manipulative with a manipulative mind, could possibly think of doing in a situation like that.
Right. Just being exactly what taking more than what they wanted, and being justified in their decisions, and because they're so egotistic and full of power in that place, they take advantage of the weaker. We were taught that we were weaker, so
Right, right.
they would just take and take and take, and it was terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds horrific, man, and it's like, to the mental first and foremost, like your your mind, it's like almost like an MK Ultra church style, you were trained with like some kind of dark manipulation, super Jesus MK Ultra. I'm a creative mind, dude. I'm laughing because like I can relate. I'm not laughing at you. Like like, because I feel that, like, and so and you alchemized that, and I wrote a book on alchemy. I'm not here to sell my book. I don't even care about it anymore. I've moved on. Like, I love alchemy. Like, you look at Trismegistus and like back in Hermes and all that stuff back in the day, like true alchemy, like turning a metal into a gold. Like, I'm gonna take some steel and turn this into platinum. But metaphysical alchemy is what we're talking about, what you did here. And you changed everything. That for all that pain, all that struggle, all that suffering and mental anguish. And somehow like, I had to go to the psych ward. But what I did in the psych ward, they couldn't do shit for me. Excuse my French again, and my ancestry. A bunch of losers, according to my last name. It actually means failure. And in Italian. So uh, I was in the psych ward after that, and they tried to just put me on a bunch of meds, and then I was like, nah, whatever. I performed in my little room. This is the stuff I don't really talk about, so like, I'm getting very vulnerable with you, Mandy. Uh, what I call psychological suicide. I had to go and re-engineer my inner thinking and like basically they say rewire, but like and kill off my old self. Spiritually is a light word for it. I don't even know if esoteric is a light word for it. It's like it's murder the ego type of thing. Like like I had a different name back then. I had nicknames, I had street names. Like I had to go in there and compassionately cut cords with parts of myself. It's still I'm understanding I'm whole, but the doctors couldn't do nothing for me. They just called me crazy and told me to take these big pharmaceuticals, you know, and that pharmaceutical left me with a weird neck spasm. And then you know that I was told that actually this post acute not post acute withdrawal, that was uh post schizoaffective disorder, um post-acute schizoaffective or something like that. And then I was told by a professional that is into darker esoteric shamanism that actually we were talking about this last episode with who was just on here, Jane. Jordan. Um, that that actually means that some of those labels that are given by the psychologists actually mean that this person has a shamanic capabilities. Not saying I'm trying to label myself that right now, but I was told this by a suicide hotline guy that came to my house with a coven that I invited the coven from Facebook over and held space for him, so I wanted to experience it, and they came over. It was beautiful, and we all ate and had full moon ceremony. And he was like, "Yeah, it's gay dude, and he's a beautiful guy." And like, he's like, "Yeah, I work at the suicide hotline." So I told him that story, and he told me that. Um, and then I was reaffirmed that. So were you ever by Jordan Thomas? He dove into a lot of that psychological stuff on psychiatric fields. So did you never have been diagnosed with anything after that because you didn't go the psych ward? You just straight did it yourself without people telling you that you had to do it a certain way or that you were this way, or have you ever been labeled? I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
I was tired of doing it a certain way. I had been doing it a certain way for almost 20 years. I was doing exactly what how they wanted me to do it, you know, and which was religious, which was a set of mandates and rules that I had to do. And I was tired of doing that. So like you have to like people like understand how hard this was for me to go from listening to a book of rules and doing it that way for almost 20 years and then breaking free from that and now doing things my own way. I was like, oh, I mean, it's a miracle that that alone didn't send me off like off the deep end because I was doing things that they had told me repeatedly that if I did, I was going to go to hell. I was going to be cursed.
Yeah.
And I know that now it's like hell doesn't even exist. That's not even real. But
No, it doesn't
at
make you. Yeah.
that time I did believe it and I was terrified. So to go from somebody who believed it rigorous, like I was so vigor in it, I was so like, yes, this is real, believing that I was a sinner, believing that I was going to be cursed and go to hell, believing that I hated myself so much that I had to trust this God outside of myself to love me. And if he didn't love me, then my whole world meant shit. And so I had to go from believing that to now being completely bare, standing there and having to learn how to walk all over again, having to trust myself when they told me I couldn't trust myself, and having to start from that point. So that it was terrifying. It was fucking terrifying. It was so terrifying. It was like bombs went off and I didn't know where to go, what to do, who to trust, who to believe in, what who could help me.
Oh, I
And
know
I
that.
had to do it all myself. Like I had to trust myself. I had to believe myself. At that moment, I had one choice. Do you know who you are? Because if you don't, you better figure that shit out. And guess what I did? I figured that shit out. I found out what I loved, what I didn't like, who I was, who I wanted to be around, who I didn't want to be around, who I wanted to be, who I
Uh,
didn't want to be. I had to take all of that. I had to figure it all out with the help of I had beautiful support, but I had to figure that out on my own. And then I had to create my own fucking book. Okay? No, not a book,
Yes.
not the book
Yes.
they told me. Not the book that they told me was the only book that had the truth. No, 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 no. That's man made. I created my own book from my own experience and alchemized all of that pain and all of that trauma. And out of it came a burst of light that began to write my book. And that book, I got to say who I was, who I've always been, who I am even before I was a human
Mm.
and before I was incarnated in this lifetime. And I got to write that and figure that out. And when I did that, yes, it was hard. I had a mental breakdown. I had to start from scratch. But today, I know who I am. Today, I share that with others through shamanism, through healing, through ancestral connections, and showing them that there is somebody outside of yourself you can connect with, but it's not God because you're God, but you can connect with the gods that came before you, and those gods are your ancestors. Those gods
All
are,
right.
and it can be Jesus if you want to be the Christ
Yeah,
consciousness.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it can be, but it doesn't. It's not all like just one being that has to help you because you can help yourself. And you can stand up on your own 2 feet and you can figure that shit out. You can write your own book. Write your own book. You can write your own book today. And guess what? Maybe you wrote a book and it came to nothing and you don't want to be that. Rip that shit up and write another book. Write
Cut the
another book.
page.
There is no rules. Okay? Who told you there was rules? Make your own fucking rules.
No,
If
damn,
if
you
you're
know
a
them.
good person and you've been through pain and trauma, chances are you now are learning how to heal that shit. Heal that shit so that you can know who you are underneath all that shit. You can
Yes.
find out who you are underneath all that. Then you can write your own book and you can make it exactly the way you want it without having to hear those outside voices saying you're not good enough, you're not
Mm,
worthy, you're not
mm.
going to make it, you're going to be cursed, you're going to go to hell, you're going to get cursed with cancer, you're going to die. You know what? That it doesn't say that in my book, baby. It don't say
Yeah.
that in my book. In my book, it says that I make it, and I've been making it. In my book, it says that I am a high priestess.
Woo.
In my book, it says I'm a goddess. In my book, it says those who connect with me are ready to heal and go deeper into the darkness, and I will help you. I will guide you into the light that's inside of you. I don't care who told you what, because I know what it feels like to be in a fucking dark prison and all you
Oh.
feel is all those voices that tell you that you're shit, you're going to hell, and you're nothing, and you need one God to survive. No, you don't. No, you don't, because I'm surviving and I'm making it. And let me tell you, that God that they supposedly said was going to help me, he didn't. He didn't. He almost sent me to a fucking crazy house. That's what he did. The God that I am and that you are, and the God that we can create, the world we can create,
Yes.
there is no limit, man. You can go as far up as you want.
Yes.
Your dreams can come true. You can live the life you want without having to listen to outside sources. And so that's what I do. I embody that and I give that to those who connect with me. And you can find more about me on my
Manifest
podcast.
destiny, man. Like for real, for real. Like I'm on a new page with you right now. I'm getting schooled by a magical supernatural woman, right? That's a whole song within a movie, within a book. What you talking
Yes.
about?
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. And so my final message before I end, because I'm gonna have to jump off here, but my final message is basically like you have that power inside of you that those who are beginning this journey, I know what it feels like to begin this journey and be like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to get further. I have so much pain. I have so much trauma. I don't know where to go, what to do.
Mm.
And my first thing to tell you is just be gentle with yourself
Yeah.
and know that the darkness that you've gone through, it may be darkness, but that darkness can actually be the robe that you carry and wear one day that actually becomes who you really are. It's not anything to be ashamed of. It can be I don't I'm not scared to share my story of what I went through in that place anymore because I know that I carry the robes of darkness and I love darkness. and I carry the robes of darkness today, but the robes of darkness have shine, they sparkle, they have glitter, they're
Yeah, I like this candle that I lit, huh?
yeah.
Imagine that. I don't know if you can see it, but there's glitter in this candle with the Sedona stones. And I found it. I forgot I had it. It says North Muse, higher power, bunch of golden, dark, beautiful darkness, realchemized. I'm right there with you, sister, or whatever you
Yes.
want to be called, me compa. Uh, like
Yes.
this is it. I'm into your journey, your book, your power, your source. That comes from source wherever you chose it, what you call it. It's funny because if you look into like Aleister Crowley and Thelema, he wrote a whole program called. You familiar with Thelema? Not Aleister Crowley.
I've heard, yeah.
Okay, so he wrote a whole program. It's basically the his new age. It was in it was in this century. Like he's gone now, but you'll see the symbol. It's a hexagram. I'll pull it up, and they say, "Do love is the whole of the law. Do as thou wilt." And he basically rewrote the Bible his way. Bible bending. It sounded a lot of what was going on over with your situation. Um, and I got into this. A buddy of mine showed me, and it was beautiful because love is the whole of the law, right? And so, like I love love, like but you look at the both dualities of it, like we are talking about earlier. So I'm gonna show you the symbol, and you know where he got it from. Just like the Bible got everything from Egyptians through other mythologies and stuff, and the roots of indigenous culture. Nothing wrong with that. It's a beautiful book when used with right intentions. Uh, Thel. I'm trying to spell. Yeah, and it's funny because a lot of musicians. Here, this is a symbol. It's from Thelema. It's the hexagram with the usually there's like a cross, Irish kind of cross, or not a cross, but like a clover in there. So he took the lesser keys of Solomon from the Bible, and he took a bunch of stuff, and basically that symbol, the hexagram, was originally the I Ching, and that roots from Eastern things, philosophies, ideologies, and stuff. And the I Ching is something I can't wait. Clayton is very knowledgeable. Clayton Allard is going to be talking about with his fire collective or whatever it's called. I can't remember fully. He has a new name for it, but he raised me that awareness the other day. And so, like, it's like, that there you can go out there and search and write your own book and create your own cult. You can, but it doesn't have to be called a cult. Like, you have cult warriors, and so you have a little like internet cult. It's beautiful, but I see the beauty in it. Your darkness shines. Your darkness passion. It's expression. And it's altruistic. There's altruism all around it. I've been following you since 2020. We were both in Texas in 2020. Probably I was right down the street from each other. I was over dang near off Harry Hines, call that area. So yeah, man, like I really relate to you in a lot of ways. It's just how do we use it, and that's why I like to dig to like the indigenous nature of everything that is before it was written. Doesn't matter which it was written, because there's a lot of writtens, right?
Right.
Like there's this funniest thing in the world I showed my friend the other. It was like the Homer Simpson uh, smoking a joint or something, and he's holding the Bible, and he said, "I wish I had the meme on me." And he's like, "It's funny that like it's the red eyes and stuff. It's funny that nobody in the Bible actually had a Bible."
Oh yeah, I've heard that one.
I'm just like, what, dude? Like, these little memes sometimes just hit so deep, and like, Nothing wrong with the Bible. It's a beautiful book about the zodiac to me. And and here we are coming on the time of Aquarius, right?
Right. So
It
yeah, I'm gonna have to hop off, but I want to say thank you to everybody who was here listening and commented, and especially those survivors that have also escaped this cult that I left.
yes, yes.
So I
Much
just want
love
to
to
say
y'all.
thank you. Thank you
So
to
much
everybody,
love and compassion.
and thank you
I
so much for being here with me as well.
Yes, thank you for like pulling me on this new little StreamYard thing. Like it's so cool. I hope you have such a blessed night, Mandy. Like so much love
Thank
and
you.
authentic, like pure energy. Like I love you for this. Thank you so much.
Oh, I
Like
love you too.
you helped me receive. You helped me hit the feels like I needed to hit. I haven't been able to hit for a long time, man. And like it takes a real strong Texas woman in Sedona with a spiritual embodiment like you, a supernatural, magical goddess like you. So much good energy your way. And
Thank
thank you.
you so much. I appreciate you.
De nada con gusto.
Oh, good night, okay?
All right, buenas noches.
Okay, bye bye.
Later.